Well, hello there, fearless midlife trailblazers. Welcome to Create the Best Me. If you are new here, I am so glad you made it here. If you're a returning listener, welcome back to the one and only place where we encourage and empower women in midlife to pursue their dreams and live life to the fullest. I am Carmen Hecox, your host and personal development coach. Today, we have a special treat for you. We're joined by the incredible Kylie Hayes. Now, Kylie isn't just any guest. She is a beacon of inspiration for us all. With nearly 15 years in management consulting, she has been a guiding force behind large corporations, helping them streamline their business operations and maximize their potential. But that's not all. She has taken her vast experience and channeled it into her own venture, where she assists small business owners, specifically in the packaging, food and beverage and wine sector. Her mission, to help them build a business they adore, minus the typical stress and chaos that comes with entrepreneurship. If you're wondering about her personal touch, she is a proud mom of two and co-owns a winery in Barossa Valley in South Australia. Talk about wearing multiple hats with grace. Today, Kylie will share her transformative journey from her days in management consulting and helping businesses thrive to her current passion of coaching and guiding others. It's a tale of reinvention, passion, and the pursuit of dreams in midlife. So buckle up as we dive into Kylie's world and uncover the steps she's taken to create a life she's truly passionate about. Kylie Hayes, welcome to Create the Best Me. I am thrilled to have you on.
Thanks for having me, Carmen. I'm really excited as well.
Kylie, can you share a little bit about your background, especially your experience in management consulting for large corporations and launching your own business?
Absolutely. So yes, I had probably, I should remember the numbers, but probably about nearly 15 years working in management consulting, which for those who don't sort of know the term, going in and helping large corporations. And I was mostly focused on the business side of things. So helping them work out how to run their business and their people more effectively so that they could achieve more, change systems if they needed, things like that. So that was a career I loved. I got to do a lot of travel with it. It was very enjoyable. And then got married and decided to have children. And I chose to stay at home with the children, which was a very big change for me after a sort of really busy corporate life. And during that time, so I probably had about 7 or 8 years at home with the children before my husband and I decided to start a winery. So then I was still able to work from home with the children. So that was great. And I'm sitting in the cellar door of our winery now. And I've done that for the past probably 7 years as well, in sort of getting all of the business process and the organization running well so that I can now step away and launch my own business coaching, which is actually sort of combining my two experiences, the large corporation experience in the management consulting and then applying that to small business, particularly in the packaged food and beverage industry that we're part of now.
So let me just back up. The reason why you are on the show is because you left the corporate world to be a stay-at-home mom. Then your husband, his dream job was to open up a winery. Is that correct?
Yes. Whilst I love a good wine, I'm a little more of a tick I like it or cross I don't type of person. So yes, but I wanted to support him and, my expertise was in actually the management and the running of a business. And so I spent the last few years while I had, children at home and getting the business up and running, getting that going. And to the point now where I can step away and follow my dream, which is in coaching and helping people.
Yeah. And so you are a woman in midlife who says, now it's my turn.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So tell us, how did your journey in the corporate world shape your decision to start your coaching business?
I think actually when we started the winery, I think I was a little bit naive and just thought, oh, well, after having worked with large corporations, running a small business is going to be easy. And learned pretty quickly that that wasn't the case, and that everything that a large corporation needed, we actually needed, but on a different scale within a small business. And in some aspects, large corporations have a big HR department or an IT department, all of those sorts of things. And suddenly in a small business, you wear every hat, until you reach the point that you can hire staff and have people supporting you in that. So I ended up having to go back and think of the business like I would have when I was working with large corporations, to make sure we actually had all of the business support and processes in place so that you delivered consistent customer service, or you limited mistakes when you're manufacturing, and all those types of things. So yeah, the two sort of drew together.
Yeah. And so you had to develop workflows where workflows did not exist.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you find that challenging? I mean, because I know when I first went into the business world straight out of college, there was a workflow in place and you just kind of just follow along and you can tweak it as you go. Did you find it challenging to develop a workflow for a business that you and your husband were running?
Not really, actually, because I think it suits my sort of zone of genius. I actually have a mathematics degree, so I'm very analytical and logical. So thinking through, okay, this step, then what are the options that could happen next? And what controls do we need in place? Or who needs to take ownership for that? All of that, I guess I did in my younger days of corporate life. And so it was just sort of bringing that back to the forefront of my mind, because I hadn't done it as you rise up in corporate world. I wasn't sort of doing a lot of time. But yeah, going back to that and thinking, okay, well, I need to step through that process again.
So why did you decide to specialize? Because you're a coach, am I correct?
Yes.
Why did you decide to specialize in packaging food, beverages, incorporating that in your business?
I guess to me, it's a way that I can be different to a lot of other business coaches out there. Some things are consistent across all businesses, but there's a lot of very specific requirements when you, firstly, manufacturing, which is very different to a lot of other businesses. And then particularly in packaged food or beverage, where you have ingredients that can expire and you have to have special controls about anything people are going to consume. So yeah, it's just being able to add that to my experience, which I've developed through the winery. It just allows me to support packaged food and beverage small businesses, possibly a little better or more unique than other small business coaches.
So what did your husband think when you said, I want to be a coach? I've been doing this. I understand this. I'm a business strategist. I know how to implement workflows and I know the winery business, but now I want to become a coach. How did that conversation go?
Good. I'm very lucky that my husband has always been supportive of me in all of my decisions, because it was totally my decision to stay at home with the children. And then I chose to support him when we launched the winery. And so, yeah, he's very happy for me to do that. And I guess he's watched me with the children and has seen me in that sort of a parenting, but a coaching and nurturing role. And also, whilst I was home with the children, I got my education diploma. Seeing I already had a mathematics degree, I got my education diploma. So I've also been tutoring students in secondary school maths. And I love coaching and supporting and mentoring people. So yeah, he could see that it was a really logical choice for me. He's happy for me to step away. The winery is functioning now without me having to be involved day to day. I'll still keep a director management role over the top of it, but it allows me to step away and do the coaching that I want to do.
Owning a winery and being a mom of 2 children and a wife seems like a lot to have on your plate. How do you balance your personal and professional responsibilities?
Some days better than others. But yeah, I've always been a fairly organised person, and so try to really sort of block my times. The children are at school now, so that makes it easier, but I do have a work day back. But even before, it was a a matter of really prioritizing, okay, what's the most important thing I can do to fit into this little window of time, if it was only little or now even within a larger school day. What can I do in the winery if there's something that needs to be done? For me, I use my mornings, which are my best time to do sort of deep work, focus on the coaching aspect, then be with the kids once they come home from school or sports or whatever they're doing. Doesn't always work out perfectly, but...
Do you have like two calendars? Do you have like your business calendar and then your mom calendar?
No, to me, it's just a me calendar. It's my whole life. So I just sort of have it all in together because it depends if my daughter's off at dancing and my son's off at cricket one afternoon, then that allows extra work time or whatever. So yeah, I just run one me calendar.
How do your kids feel about you going back into the workforce that's different than working with Dad at the winery?
Yeah, they laughed the first time I put an Instagram post out. They just thought it was hilarious and it got lots of comments. I can't even remember what it was about now. But yeah, they thought it was absolutely hilarious that you're just mum. What are you doing on Instagram? Because I don't actually post a lot personally. I never have. I've sort of kept the children's lives away from social media, what have you. But I guess one of the drivers for me in taking the step to, particularly to go online, because that was the most uncomfortable part of it for me. The rest of the coaching I'm completely happy with, but the marketing aspect where you need to put yourself out there and be online, I was extremely uncomfortable with, particularly after having been a stay-at-home mum and not being in that sort of results-driven corporate world. And as a mum, I'd often feel I never got to the end of the day and thought, gee, I was a smashing mum today. I did a really great job. You know, there was always things that I thought, oh, gee, I should have handled that better or what have you. So probably my confidence had dropped a little bit. So I was very reluctant to put myself out there on social media and get going with this. But the thing that I've always said to the kids is to face their fears, you know, because that's the only way you progress in life is if you just stand up and tackle them. So I couldn't very well be saying that to them and then not doing it for me. So that sort of pushed me over the edge. Yeah, my daughter in particular, who's a bit older, she'll help me out whenever I can't work out how to do an Instagram reel when I first started. So yeah, they're supportive, but I still get to spend a lot of time with them. So it's not like they've really sort of lost me to a job or a new career or anything.
Do you think your daughter looks up to you like, look at her, mom's living the dream?
I hope so. I'm not sure she could verbalize it in those words, but actually she's a lot like me. So she's probably not the one that I'm doing it for. It's probably my son that is the one who's a little bit more introverted and a little bit risk averse and what have you. So it's probably him that every time I don't want to do something, I think, okay, do it for him.
How has your experience as a mother influenced your approach to business and coaching?
I think, as I said before, that I've really focused with the kids on having a growth mindset, which also came through with the teaching as well. So I'll sort of tackle it both ways, particularly in Australia, but I think America is similar and most Western societies. A lot of girls and women, you know, have quite limiting beliefs, particularly when it comes around mathematics and numbers, and therefore don't want to look at the numbers in the business in any detail or even the tech side of things. It's something that girls and women often have a lot of hang-ups on. So that was one of the reasons I did my teaching diploma when I had the kids at home, was to make sure I could support them to not develop those beliefs. So that was one aspect. I think the other one, as I said, was facing fears and just following your heart or following the door that opens, which is sort of what I've done in my life. And now that my daughter is at the age where she's having to decide university options and everything in the next 12 months or so, I just keep saying to her, open the door that makes sense for you in that time, walk through it as fast as you can. And if it's not the right door, close it and open another one. So, and that's sort of what has got me into coaching. And even from a coaching perspective, I think deep down we always know the answer to whatever our challenge is or our problem. And the benefit, I think, of coaching is that a coach can sort of sit back objectively and sort of ask the questions so that you find your own answer, like not give you an answer. And so another aspect with the children, I don't always do it well, but I try not to give them the answer, just ask the probing questions that they find for themselves. Oh yeah, this is what I want. And sometimes I have to say, I think there's some implications that you don't quite know of yet, given your age, and we'll talk them through. But yeah, so probably, lots of factors of my life have brought me to this point.
Can you share a specific challenge you faced when you began to transition from this new phase of pulling away from the winery business and going into this coaching business, and how you overcame it?
Well, I think, as I said before, it was probably getting on social media. And I think all of us, not all of us, most of us, have a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, and probably particularly females that as a society, we work as a group. And so I think that was probably the biggest challenge for me. What if I put this Instagram post up or this Facebook post and nobody looks at it? So I struggled with that, because that's exactly what happens when you first start, unless all your friends and family are your ideal clients, which mine aren't, then you do post things and nobody looks at it. And, you think, why am I going to keep doing this? And so having an important reason why, I think, is one thing to help get over it, that I love coaching people. And so just having the patience to say, okay, I need the discipline. Just like when I went through university and got my mathematics degree, it was about doing the little steps over and over and over and over. And in corporate world, same thing, do the little steps with the children. The little things every day are what helps raise a child. It's not some big thing you do on one day and abracadabra, you've developed an amazing little human being. So I think it was just focusing on the end result of what I want, and then just face the fear every day, do the little thing.
And I will say you are absolutely correct. Being an older woman or a more mature woman, going on social media, posting, I had my fair share of nasty messages. And my husband, I remember he went into his defense mode when someone said something nasty. And he's like, just delete that comment. Why do you feel like you need to entertain that? And I said, because there's always going to be people out there that are going to say things that are nasty. I'm doing this not for him. I'm doing this for her, the woman that is listening. So that way she knows that I get trolled. And even though I get trolled, I still handle it with grace. And the reason why I'm responding to this nasty message is because I owe it to the women that I represent. And I owe it to myself to keep going. And it is difficult.
Yeah. And I think that's a lesson learned along the way too, is that you don't have to be the right person for everybody. You're the right person for a certain group of people, and they aren't going to be the people who troll you because they hear your message, it resonates with you, whether it's the way you say it, because you can say the exact same thing as somebody else, but one is going to resonate more than another. I guess the way I've looked at it is the people who are trying to move forward and progress, and which are the people I want to work with, they're not the people who are sitting there spending time bagging and trolling people on social media. So it's like, lesson release. I don't need you in my life.
What has been the most rewarding part of this journey for you?
Oh, good question. I think just slowly building my confidence back up in a new phase of life that is very different. Each phase of my life's been very different, but probably when you're 21, you think you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof and probably haven't felt that way as I've got older, and as your body changes and what you can eat changes and just so many changes going on. So I think the process has just really helped me give me a goal and something that I'm really passionate about to keep working towards. And it might make me go to bed a bit earlier so that I get a better night's sleep, so that I show up better the next day, or I eat a bit healthier, or I post that Instagram reel that I was like, oh, I don't know if this is a good one or not. Just post it. Yeah, I think just that building my confidence in myself and that I can take on whatever comes along.
How do you keep your enthusiasm alive, especially when you feel stressed or overwhelmed?
I think just going back to the feeling of when somebody has a breakthrough, whether it be my child doing something or whether it's a child that I've tutored in mathematics or business owners, when I just see that almost like a weight comes off when the answer to whatever was challenging them, or they couldn't see the way through something, and it's almost like you can visibly see, yeah. And I think that's just so rewarding, to just see that lightness. So when I'm not in a light place, is just trying to think back to, okay, that's what I'm going for. Can I coach myself to get back into that? Because as I said, I think everybody actually knows the answer to their problem themselves. It's just clearing all of everything else out of the way so you can find your own answer. So yeah, trying to do that for myself and remembering back to that feeling I get when I see somebody else go, oh, yeah.
So reflecting on your wins is what keeps you going.
Absolutely, yeah.
Where do you see your coaching business going in the next 5 years?
Oh, another good question. The next 5 years actually is quite a big transition for me because both children will then be out of school and not sure what path they'll be taking. So yeah, so at the moment, my coaching business is really small, working one-on-one with people, but progressively my daughter finishes next year, so that frees up some more time for me. So really looking to get into more group coaching and ideally getting to the point where I've created a great community of women who are in that packaged food and beverage space. Because I think the more the world goes to AI and tech and this and that, and some robot will speak the words on a video to you and all that sort of stuff, I think we are going to lean more and more on community and connection. And particularly for women, as I said before, we were the gatherers through history where we did it as a tribe. So that would be my goal is, to create a really strong community of women in the packaged food and beverage industry that can support each other through the challenges of running a business.
What's one piece of advice you wish someone had given you when you started this journey of reinventing yourself?
Probably the thing I said before about open the door and walk through fast. So fail fast, basically, because you don't know what's behind the door. And probably I started slowly and I tried a couple of things. Maybe I could do some coaching in the maths business and probably dabbled with a lot of things slowly because I didn't know the right answer. So yeah, I've changed that now to say when you open the door, walk very fast and fail fast. Put the sales page up and see what happens. Learn from that, because sitting in your study and trying to come up with different ideas, whilst not doing it so that you're putting a poor quality product out there or not preparing for a call well or anything like that. But don't try to be a perfectionist, which probably my mathematical background, when I started down this path, I was like, okay, there's a right answer. Because in a lot of mathematics, you focused on getting the answer. And so, yeah, I wish somebody had, and probably people did say to me, fail fast, and I wasn't in a place to listen to it. But that's probably my advice, or the advice I wished I'd heard better. Open the door, walk through fast.
So do you mean that because if you do it fast, then you're less likely to listen to self-doubt?
Yeah, that's one aspect of it. Yeah, I think once you've thrown yourself out there, you sink or swim, and most of us want to swim. So I think it's that, as well as you learn the lessons much quicker because you only learn by doing. You can't teach a baby to walk by giving them instructions and what have you. They just have to try it and fall down and try it and fall down. And eventually they work it out and they stop falling down or learning to ride a bike or whatever it is. So, yeah, so I think just learn the lessons quicker. So, yeah, so probably both. I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah, the self-doubt is another good one because the more you think, the more the feelings can build up and, what if nobody likes this? What if nobody buys this? What if?
And I always tell people, I'm like, if they don't, because that's not the person I was talking to. That's not the person I'm trying to sell to or deliver the message to.
Yeah. Oh, and I think, as I said before too, I'm sure people told me that message, but I wasn't in the right place to hear it. And so it was probably once I'd done things a few times and then somebody said the message again, I was like, oh yes, now I get it. Yeah. So I think, we're constantly evolving. And so a message that didn't connect with us or resonate with us before might resonate later just because we're not in the place to accept it.
And I think another thing that a lot of women in midlife need to really, really ponder on is that right here, right now, the place that we are at right now, our age, our experience, our knowledge, there's so much we can do. We are so better equipped than we were back when we were 21, 31. I believe that we have a greater possibility of succeeding versus failing.
Yeah.
But we don't put ourselves out there because we're scared.
And I think we're at an interesting junction in time for people around our age that have grown up not in the digital world and being the leaders, the mentors, the guides for the generation that are coming through into adulthood now and becoming parents or entering careers or what have you. And a digital life has been their entire world. And I think we offer a perspective that possibly has a lot of those softer skills and communication skills that I think can get lost a little bit now when everybody's sitting on a bus and everybody's looking down at their phone. And so I think we're the bridge generation that has learnt the digital aspects of life, sometimes slowly, but it hasn't been ingrained. And so I think we've got different social skills than the younger generations coming through.
So again, you are coaching women, small business owners that are wanting to build systems for their food and beverage business?
Most people wouldn't say it that way, probably, because systems are boring. Numbers are boring. So I don't think anybody wakes up and thinks, okay, I want to design some systems today, or I want to put some KPIs in place. But the reality is, if you're wearing lots of hats and you feel like you're a traffic cop, that you're just directing, this issue comes in and you're sorting that out, and the bottles haven't arrived in time for the bottling run next week, where are we going to get them from? You've got all this sort of stuff going on, and if you've got staff supporting you, you're trying to manage them as well. So it's not the thing that people wake up and think they want to do, but those things just can help so much in terms of your level of stress and actually running the business more effectively. Because a lot of people in our industry come into it because of their passion for the food product or the beverage, the wine, whatever it is. And they don't start it thinking, I want to run an exceptional business. It's actually about the product that they love and their friends have loved and everything. So the way I sort of say it is, if you want to grow the profits in your business without all the stress and overwhelm of having to actually run the business, so that you can have the business running as smoothly as possible, so that you can focus on where your passion is within the business. Because most people aren't passionate about all aspects of business. I know I'm not passionate about all aspects, but until you reach a very big size, you don't necessarily have all the support people to do. You still have to keep doing some of the things you don't want to do. So streamline things so that they go through smoothly.
And I believe that every business owner has a responsibility to know what I call the less sexy stuff of your business, because then you hire the wrong people to do that. And then you find yourself in a financial rut. But sometimes it's too late to get out. It comes at a cost.
Yes. And as I said, my analytical background, that is actually the stuff that I enjoy, that I've been doing my whole life. So I'm not the expert in the food or the wine or the beverage or what have you. I'm the expert in the running the business.
So I guess I could say you bring the sexiness into the business.
I try. I don't know.
You make it more appealing.
Yes. And less of a stress point.
Mm-hmm. Looking back, would you have done anything different in your journey to arrive where you are right now?
Not really. Not in terms of the choices I've made, because, I think my whole life I have actually done that open the door, walk through. There's no way I could have plotted the paths my life has taken. So not in terms of the choices, possibly just in terms of the way that I've shown up in life. At times to possibly have enjoyed the journey a little more when you're in some of those stages of a bit of the grind, and probably not have let that get me down as much. So that's something I'm sort of really trying to focus on now. And I think you only get that with the wisdom of being older. So the benefit of starting something at an older age, not at 21, is to just enjoy the process more. And I think at this stage, I care less what people think, because I know they're really focused on what's going on in their lives. They're not really looking at, what's Kylie doing? Yeah, so to just try to go with the flow a little more and, not let some of the heaviness get to me. Yeah.
What message would you like to leave with the audience today, especially women in midlife who are considering changing their careers or changing their life?
Yeah, just open the door and walk through past. I think particularly with modern medicine, as a scientist as well, I just have great faith that science is going to open up so many new things for us in our lifetime, that just because we're 50 or somewhere around there, it doesn't mean, I think in Australia, the legal retirement age is still 65 or something. That doesn't mean that we've got 15 years and then we have to sort of give it all up. With advances in medicine, I see myself still doing great things, into 70s and hopefully 80s. So, just no limiting beliefs. Just face the fear, open the door, walk through and enjoy it. As I said, people aren't really focused on you as much. They've got so much going on in their own lives. Just do what you want to do. Don't look back. Often a lot of us have invested in our families and supporting husbands or whatever it is. This is a great time to take on what it is that you want to do and step forward.
Kylie, where can people learn more about you?
So my Instagram handle is Food Wine Thrive, and my website is www.foodwinethrive.com. So you can find me in both of those places.
Great. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your journey of reinventing yourself at this particular phase in your life.
No, thanks for having me, Carmen, and for what you're doing to support women to take that step and really enjoy this phase of our lives.
I will include all of your information in the show notes so that people can learn more about you.
Great. Thanks again for having me today.
Thank you. What a profound discussion with Kylie today. One of the standout pieces of advice she shared, which I believe resonates with so many of us, is open the door of opportunity in front of you. Step into it quickly and give it a try. The wisdom behind this is so clear. Stepping in swiftly, we don't give ourselves the chance to second guess ourselves or let our self-doubt creep in. And as Kylie so beautifully put it, In this season of our lives, midlife, we are armed with the experience, knowledge we've accumulated over the years. We truly have what it takes to achieve whatever we set our hearts out to do. The key is to learn from doing. Furthermore, her encouragement to embrace social media is so timely. In an age where many might feel they're too old for the digital world, Kylie reminds us that there's someone out there waiting to hear our unique message. So don't hold back. Share your story, your insights, and your wisdom. For those of you inspired by Kylie's words and journey, you can find more information about her along with today's transcript at createthebestme.com/EP048. If this episode touched your heart or sparkled a thought, I'd love for you to subscribe and stay updated. And do join me next week as we explore the intricate world of parenting. Until then, keep dreaming big, take care of yourself, and remember, you are beautiful, strong, and capable of creating the best version of yourself. Thank you for watching. Catch you next week. Bye for now.